From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning in-wheel time car show. Today, inside our new car showroom, the Buick Encore. We're going to give you an in-depth review of that. We'll also get this week's automotive news and Conrad's Car Clinic. And a couple of professional drag racing's big shots are going to be with us as well. Just ahead on today's in-wheel time car show for Saturday, September 19th, 2020. Howdy, along with King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Mike Mars is out today. Sitting in his place is David Ainsley, our engineer. And Jeff Zekin is over off the side over there working all of the video stuff. And we appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you.
Yeah. You're going to do it.
We begged you to come. Thank you so much.
Like you're going to do it alone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's not going to happen at all.
Wait till you see the bill.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Angelle Sampey, can you hear us?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you too, and we are so excited to have you with us today. Angelle Sampey, ladies and gentlemen, 43 career wins, the most ever for a female driver in NHRA history. 74 career final rounds, gone 6.73 seconds in the quarter mile on a motorcycle. 199.76 miles per hour is her career best speed, and it is an honor to talk to you. We have never met. I was on the drag racing circuit for a while with the Valvoline Top Fuel team, and we never had a chance to run into each other. But listen, we're all gaga here to have you with us today, and thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. So are you over there in Matthews, Louisiana?
Yes, I am, and I just got an alert on my watch that we're under a tropical storm warning yet again. This will be the fourth one in just a couple of weeks.
I know, and guess what? Right down the coast, and we're kind of there with you when this stupid hurricane season has been absolutely incredible. Well, congratulations on all that you have done in the past, and I know that here fairly recently you joined the Screaming Eagle Vance and Hines Harley Davidson team, and I know that's got to be a thrill for you, because these guys really have been kind of the pinnacle of your sport. And, what's it like?
It's a dream come true for me. When they invited me to join the team, with all sincerity, I really thought it was a joke. I didn't think they were seriously trying to put me on a third Harley Davidson after 20 years of being the rival. So I didn't know what to think at first. It took me quite a while to believe them, and then when I actually took my first trip to the Vance and Hines shop in Indianapolis, I was full of jitters, full of butterflies, a nervous wreck. Just sitting on the motorcycle in the shop, it was overwhelming, and I was scared to death. But we took it out testing, and I realized how much of a beast it really is. All these years I've been thinking, because it's a Harley Davidson and it's a Vance and Hines team, it's got to be easy, it's got to be, you can't be beat on one of these motorcycles. But then I learned very quickly that it's the hardest motorcycle I've ever ridden in my whole career, and that Andrew and Eddie just make it look easy.
What makes it so hard? What makes it so hard to ride?
Everybody wants to know that, and I've tried to find the words to explain it. I think for me personally, it's coming off of a Suzuki onto a Buell and then a Harley. Each one was a little step. Suzuki to me was the easiest bike to ride. You're enclosed in what feels like a capsule. You're not feeling any wind. It's just a very easy bike to move around on the racetrack. They're a lot lighter than the one I drive right now. And then the Buell was a little bit harder because of the way the engine is and the torque. I felt that differently. The RPMs are totally different. The aerodynamics of the body are still really, really good, especially the new EBRs that some of the teams are racing. They're excellent with aerodynamics. But our Harley Davidsons are not quite so aerodynamic. And the first one I got on, when I talk about how hard it was the first Harley that I raced, not the one I'm on now, because the one I'm on now is a little bit better with the aerodynamics. But I got on this street rod, and it had this little teeny tiny windshield in front of me, and there was hardly anything blocking me from the wind. And for 20 years, I've been blocked from the wind very well. And now I was feeling all that wind on me, pushing on my shoulders, trying to rip my hands off the handlebars. And, then the torque that comes along with this Harley engine that Vance and Hines builds is unbelievable. I was used to either the power band being on the bottom of the gear or the top of the gear, but this Harley Davidson that I ride now, it has power from the bottom to the top. I mean, it's constantly trying to pull me off of the motorcycle. And just, the mental aspect of it, I was just so overwhelmed by being on this team and being on a Harley Davidson. It was mentally tough for me as well.
And having a huge fan base that follows Harley as well has got to be kind of pump you up when you get on it and you think of how many of those.
I was actually kind of scared if they were going to accept me because I had been on the other types of motorcycles before, and how would they feel about me coming on to the Harley Davidson team. But I've been a Harley Davidson person all my life. My dad is a huge Harley Davidson fan. He had me on the back of his Harley at 3 years old. So it was just something we couldn't let anybody know, that we loved Harley Davidson when I wasn't racing for them. If I'm racing for Suzuki, I can't tell everybody how much I love Harley Davidson. So now it's kind of like a relief. We can finally let it out. My dad can wear off his Harley gear. And I just can't tell you enough how honored. I have goosebumps right now talking about it. How honored and blessed I feel to finally be on this team, because like you said, it's the pinnacle of our sport, and I don't know how much time I have left in this sport, so I feel like I'm going to finish on top. I'm just so happy to be here.
Angelle, how did you get started in pro drag racing? How did that happen?
Well, I started racing motorcycles when I was 6 years old. Dirt bikes, motocross racing with my brother, my dad, my cousins. So I've been on motorcycles all my life. And then I was riding street bikes before I could even touch the ground on one. I would actually start with a milk crate under my feet, ride a certain course around the neighborhood we were in, and then end up with my feet on the milk crate so I could get off the motorcycle. At about 17, I was learning how to drag race it, and 18, we had a street bike that I took out to State Capitol Dragway in Baton Rouge here in Louisiana, and then introduced to the sport by the Cajun Nationals in Baton Rouge, and just fell in love with the pro stock motorcycle category. John Myers and Terry Vance and Byron Hines were all the people that I watched, Dave Schultz. I mean, they were just, when I was young, I didn't have, band posters on my wall. I had pro stock motorcycle drivers on my wall. So I knew it was what I wanted to do all my life. And then I attended Frank Hawley's drag racing school in Florida. And that's how I got my license, and was hired by George Bryce at that school, and started racing with Star Racing many, many years ago. And one thing led to another. We won our 4th race we ever went to. Was #1 qualifier, set the world record, and won the race. So it was just, my career was set on fire from the beginning.
Well, you're a small woman, 5'1", and so, you would typically think that you have an advantage because of your size and weight and all, but NHRA kind of has the rules leveled out. There's a weight limit and that sort of stuff that you have to go by. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because a lot of people still, after all these years, don't know that being little it's an advantage in some ways, but for the most part, it's a disadvantage for me. I have the heaviest motorcycle at the racetrack. That's because I'm one of the smallest drivers. With the Harleys and the V-Twins, we all have to weigh 640 pounds with the bike and the driver all suited up. The Suzukis can weigh 595 or 600, depending on which engine combination they're using. So Suzuki riders have a lot less weight to maneuver down the track, and I have a lot more. And then, being as little as I am, we have to add the weight. So if you look at the motorcycle that Andrew Hines drives compared to the one that I drive, they look identical, but mine is about 70 pounds heavier than Andrew's. So he's, bigger, stronger guy. I'm a smaller female with this big, heavy motorcycle. So it's really tough to keep it straight. If it's getting out of the groove, if there's a crosswind, it's a lot harder for me to maneuver it than it is for him. But then we can put the weight where we want it, so we have a little bit of advantage with the way the bike leaves. We can get really good 60-foot times with that weight transfer. All his weight is up on top of the motorcycle. A lot of mine is down below. So there's a little bit of an advantage, but like I said, for the most part, it's a beast. Is it a heavy, heavy beast, and it's hard for me to get it straight down the racetrack.
Well, and you had talked about the wind because the fairing on the Harley is so much smaller. It's not just the wind pushing on you; it's the wind that's pushing the bike around because it's pushing on you. And I don't think people really understand how I'm going to say dangerous that is. You just mentioned crosswind as well.
We're like a rudder in the wind, is what we are. If sometimes, and it just happened to me in Indy, actually, it's when I had to race against Scotty, The grandstands were protected. We had a pretty strong crosswind, and the grandstands were protecting that wind. But as soon as we got past the grandstand, a gust of wind got me, and it was like I'm going perfectly straight, and instantly, but the bike takes a left-hand turn, and it just goes straight to the center line. And I had to roll off the throttle. So if anybody watched that race and they saw that I only did 170 miles per hour, that was because as soon as that wind gust got me, there was nothing I could do. It was so strong and so hard, and I wasn't big enough to pull the bike back, so I had to roll off the throttle, and ultimately lost the race because of it.
Angelle, we got a lot more to talk about. We're going to take a quick break here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. With that in mind, it's time to review our safe driving checklist. First, you're in your car. Check. You're sober. Check. You're wearing your seatbelt. Check. Your phone is put away. Check. Great. Make sure you follow the speed limit. And remember, law enforcement is enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest present the Gary Merrill Memorial Pro Modified Race with a purse-busting $7,000 to the winner. Saturday night, September 26th at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover and racing at 6. Wear your mask. We've got social distancing and sanitizer. Enjoy dollar hot dogs and dollar beer. Advance tickets online at NASCARHouston.com. Saturday night, September 26th. Gates at 5. Racing at 6. Houston Motorsports Park. The $7,000 Gary Merrill Pro Modified Race. Bring the kids. Welcome back to the In Wheel Time program. We really appreciate you joining us on this Saturday morning. Our guest right now is Angelle Sampey, pro stock motorcycle driver in the NHRA drag racing circuit, and she has 42 wins to her name in her career so far, closing in on the second.
43. She's giving you the signal.
Sorry. 43. So we've got a couple of more to tie the all-time motorcycle in history winner, Dave Schultz, at 45. And I know that you're going to do it, and I know that you have the confidence to do it, don't you?
Well, actually, Andrew Hines is the all-time winningest person in pro stock motorcycle now, and I think he's up to like 58 or something like that.
Oh my gosh! Well,
yeah.
The NHRA needs to update your stuff on the web.
Andrew passed up Dave a long time ago, and he's made that goal pretty hard to reach. Especially like I said earlier, I don't know how much more time I have in this career, but I'm hoping they keep me on the motorcycle for several more years because I'm not giving up. That is the one goal that I haven't accomplished that I want, and I'm coming after Andrew, and I'm on his team, and he tunes my motorcycle, so he has a lot to do with how fast I go and if I win races, but I have all the respect and all the faith and trust in him. I know he gives me the best motorcycle he can give me, and I'm going to have the best shot at getting some more wins with him.
When is the next race?
We will be in Gainesville, Florida next weekend.
Yeah, I didn't know whether motorcycle was scheduled to run in Gainesville or not. Are you coming to Houston this year?
We are, thank God. We're coming back. Gainesville is usually our season opener for the pro stock motorcycles. That's the first race we're supposed to be at. We went there, we were ready to race, and that's when the coronavirus hit, and they sent us all home and told us we'd come back. We've only had races in Indianapolis since. We've had 3 for the bikes. So this will be our first race this year out of Indianapolis. I'm so excited to get to another track and see some new faces. And Gainesville's a wonderful race for us because it's a motorcycle area. They love bikes there, but really happy to be coming back to Houston this year. I call it my home race because it's the closest one to home, so lots of friends and family usually make it there.
And how is it with your fan base over here? I would imagine that it's A-okay to walk up to the ropes and say, hey, Angelle, need a signature here. We're going to get a picture with you. You good with that?
Yeah, it's a little weird right now. We're having to mask up and do the social distancing thing. We try to sign autographs and leave them out pre-signed for the fans to grab them. But it's hard. My favorite saying is it's hard to be Cajun and social distance at the same time.
Yeah, that's bad. That's absolutely perfect.
We're all about being social, hugs and kisses and just being close to family and friends and fans. And I love standing at the ropes and talking with people and taking pictures. So the way we've been having to do it lately is really tough on me, and I've probably broken a few rules here and there, gotten a little too close, but it's hard to do. My fans are so supportive and so loving, and if they want to take a picture with me, I can't say no. So I've tried to stay a little, try to keep a little distance in the picture, but it's hard to do.
So I understand that you're a big animal lover. I want to get personal with you for a moment. Tell me about your pets.
Right now, I'm very limited on pets. I've been traveling so much; it's hard to keep track of them at home, or I'll have to have someone come over and help. But we're down to a chinchilla and a rabbit and a cat right now. But at one time, we had a whole farm. We had a goat, a pig, chickens, ducks. We had a dog, along with the cat, the chinchilla, the rabbit, a hamster, all of these animals at the same time.
Well, that goes along with being Cajun, though, too, doesn't it?
Exactly. We have alligators in our pond in our front yard on a regular basis. We have 3 turtles that live in there all the time. So it's a full-time job to take care of all these animals. So like I said, we're down to just 3 right now. But as soon as I'm not racing anymore, and I hope that's not too soon, but I promised my daughter we get a bunch of animals again one day.
You had mentioned the transition from the Suzuki to the Buell to the Harley. What was just for the fans to kind of listen to, what was your shift point in each of those 3 bikes, the RPM shift points?
Very different. The Suzuki's is really high. If my memory serves me well, I think we were shifting somewhere between 12 and 13,000 RPMs. I don't remember exactly. And then with the Buell, we're much lower than that. We're usually right around 10,000 RPMs on each gear shift.
And where are you at?
The same in time, but the sound of the engine is so totally different.
Right,
so
right.
when I first made the transformation, I was waiting for that really high revving RPM, and I was overshifting at first, or waiting too long. But I got it now. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. It's really hard to. We have to shift 5 gears in under 4 seconds. So
wow.
It's kind of hard to be right on time, but I'm usually there.
Well, that's part of your success. I want to go back a little bit here, and I understand that you like playing golf. How is that at 5'1"?
I'm not. I don't know if I would say I like playing golf. I'm so competitive, and my attention span is really short, which is why I'm a drag racer. And then the golf game really gets me. I'm good for about 5 holes. And then after that, if I start losing my game, I get very mad and I don't want to play anymore. So I just sit on the golf cart, and my husband gets mad because he wants me to actually finish a game one day. And I think he's, he might play several times a year and I'll only go once or twice, and I usually do better than him. So he gets mad because he says, if you would just try and play more, you'd be so good. But like I said, I'm only good for about 5 holes, and then I give up. But it's an interesting sport because it takes just as much, mentally from you as drag racing does, and that's why I like it. But then I hate it because once I lose it for the day, it's like you can start off like a champion golf player, and then within 5 holes, you look like you've never hit a golf ball in your life.
So what are you looking for the rest of the season? I know it's a abbreviated season, and I know that things are tight on all of drag racing and all of sports for that matter, and we got just a few races to go. How do you think you're going to be doing here in the next few races?
Yeah, as of right now, we only have 5 races to go. So if we get all 5 of those in, it'll be only 8 races for the season, which is very upsetting to me because it's what I live for. I want to race, and we're used to having 16, 18 races a year. I'm definitely looking to make it rounds after rounds after rounds, hopefully win another race or 2. I'd love to win another championship. I'm trying not to set myself up for disappointment, but I've already had a much better year than I had last year with winning a race this year. But I have to go rounds because this is such a short season. To win a championship, you can make no mistakes with only 5 races left to go. So I'm hoping that they'll actually give us a championship. I'm not sure how they're going to handle it yet, with only 8 races in the books. But I'm going to be there knocking on the door if they do. Well,
I hope all the guys from the Vance and Hines team are watching this morning because we really have enjoyed our interview with you. And you're such a great sport and a great competitor. And we wish you the best of luck. We're going to be following you now the rest of the season. So we got you back on this end over here in your next door neighbor, Texas.
I appreciate it. Just one last note. I heard you guys talking about electric vehicles before I came on.
Yes.
Did you know that I drove the Live Wire? I have the record on the Live Wire, the Harley-Davidson electric motorcycle.
We've not heard that, and we haven't seen that. Can we see that somewhere?
Yes, I have it on all my social media pages. Harley-Davidson has it on their page as well. It's the Harley-Davidson Live Wire electric motorcycle. It is a blast. We rode them at the last race. We did a couple of passes on them in competition. Eddie and Andrew raced each other. And then I did a solo pass behind them and blew them away. I think I ran a 7:01 in the 8th mile at 100 miles per hour.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and the quarter mile I ran an 11:15, I think it was, at 110. The bike tops out at 110. It won't let you go any faster than that. But it is a blast. I had so much fun on that motorcycle. They are really good-looking bikes, fun to ride, so you have to check them out, Harley-Davidson Live Wire, and they're perfect for girls. And I don't want to take anything away from the guys because let me tell you, they are a fast motorcycle. But for any females that are looking to ride and are intimidated by shifting and a clutch, the Live Wire is for you.
I'll go find that video and I'll post it on our Facebook page.
Yeah, you got to check it out. It's awesome.
Angelle, thanks again. We really appreciate it. Best of luck to you. We'll be following you. You stay safe over there with our hurricane coming. All right, thank you.
For having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, hon. Bye-bye. All right, Angelle Sampey, Pro Stock motorcycle rider for the Vance and Hines team. Great
How awesome
interview.
was that?
Yeah, it
How
really
awesome
was.
was that?
Yeah. She's a true champion and a true representative of her sport in a very good way. All right, well, we're going to have our car review coming up, and we're going to take a quick break. We're right back here on the In Wheel Time program.
There's no greater pain a parent can suffer than losing a child. And yet, heat stroke deaths in hot cars are on the rise. The temperature inside a vehicle can reach deadly levels in just a few minutes. Leaving windows cracked does not help. These preventable deaths can occur even when the outside temperature is as low as 57 degrees. Never leave your baby or child in a vehicle, even for a short period. And always check the back seat before you get out of the car. Where's baby? Look before you lock. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. With that in mind, it's time to review our safe driving checklist. First, you're in your car. Check. You're sober. Check. You're wearing your seatbelt. Check. Your phone is put away. Check. Great. Make sure you follow the speed limit. And remember, law enforcement is enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Show.
That was a great interview. I really enjoyed talking to Angelle. That was so cool. I watched her race
we've
over
got
the
more
years.
NHRA excitement coming up. If we can, this will be the third
try with Jack Beckman.
Yeah, fast Jack Beckman. We got him coming up as well. So, all right. Guess who's on the horn with us right now? That would be Mr. Absentee, Mike out of this world, Mars. Look at you.
Live from the Goodwill.
Hello, Mr. Mars.
Howdy, guys. How are y'all?
Well, we're doing just fine here in Houston, Texas, and I hope that you're hunkered down over there closer to Louisiana than we are, and I hope things are going well down at the beach as well. So with that all said and done, I know that you have a review of the Buick Encore. Let's hear it.
Let me tell you, I found this vehicle so interesting after I got into doing the research on it. I mean, we're talking about the compact crossover, a brand new crossover from Buick, and it actually slots between the Encore, because this is the Encore GX. Not the GX as a trim level, but as a separate vehicle. And the essence is the trim level on it. So it slots between the existing Encore and the larger Envision. And it's actually on the same platform as the Trailblazer to give you an idea of what size it actually is. Comes in 3 different trim levels, the Preferred, the Select, the Essence, which is the one that we had. So again, it's all new. It looks a whole lot like the Encore, but it's got a little bit different styling, a little more contemporary styling on the corners and on the edges of it. So of course, up front, you're going to find the LED lighting package. You got it's all around with fog lights included. It's got the rain sensing wipers, roof side rails, had a panoramic sunroof in this big thing, and had the hands-free power liftgate, which is an option on the Buick. And we were rolling on some nice 18-inch aluminum wheels on the exterior of it. So once you got into the inside of it, We had the optional leather seating surfaces. The front seats were heated. The rear seats were a 60/40 folding back seat. The front passenger seat on this vehicle actually folds down so that if you've got a long cargo, like an 8-foot 2x4 or something, you can actually get it in there in this vehicle because of its additional size. We had the surround vision camera. We had the heads-up display. Got a nice 8-inch touchscreen in the middle of the dash, which is where we're going to find the Buick infotainment system with all the convenience controls, the Apple CarPlay, the Android Auto, all those good things. And this vehicle behind the rear seats got 23.5 cubic feet of storage. The standard Encore is at 18.8. So you pick up a little bit of storage there because of the additional size of the vehicle. Now, up under the hood, it's got the 1.3 liter turbo. Now, this is a 3-cylinder engine, and I didn't realize that they were still putting 3-cylinder engines in these vehicles. The 1.2 is standard, but the 1.3 is the optional kind of an upgrade. 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque, and it's backed by a CVT. There is, if you step up to a little bit bigger engine, there is an automatic 9-speed available, but this is the one that we had. The EPA says it should be looking for 30 miles to the gallon in the city, highway 32, and combined is 31. So that's really a narrow band of what they've got, and it's something to do with that, the power of that 3-cylinder attached to the CVT. And it's kind of weird to look at it like that. But what I really think, I could stand to have a little more juice. I don't care if it's a turbo 3-cylinder or if you step up to the 4-cylinder. It was fine for running around town, but out on the highway, it seemed like if I was trying to make a lane change or pass somebody, I really wanted a little more juice to it. Has a real nice Buick ride out on the highway. It's got some nice firmness to it, but it's also kind of smooth. Now, if you're looking for something that you want to compare this vehicle to, you're looking at maybe a Mazda CX-30, base price $21,900, a Honda HR-V, the base price on it's going to be $20,900, or the new Kia Seltos, based on its $21,990. Now, a base Buick Encore GX. Remember, this is a little bit bigger than the regular Encore. It's a brand new vehicle slotted in there, actually to get more to the younger crowd that's looking for a more contemporary vehicle than what the Encore is. So the base on it's $28,500. So it's a little bit higher than some of the competitors. The MSRP on this vehicle, as tested, is $33,465 for the new Encore GX vehicle. And that's my review of the new Encore GX.
Mr. Mars, you've done a fabulous job, and we appreciate that. And, of course, we're running a little bit behind, so we're going to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You stay safe over there, and we'll talk to you later, sir. All right, time now for the national events calendar, and Conrad has that.
Well, next weekend up in Fort Worth is the Good Guys Lone Star Nationals, and that's going to be a huge event of street rodders. We talked last weekend about Mustang Fest in Corpus Christi, Texas, October 2nd, and they're going to meet up in Mustang, Oklahoma, and drive on down to the Mustang Fest in Corpus Christi. That should be kind of cool. The Sema Fest the SEMA show is November 3rd through the 6th, and I'm not real sure. Yeah, I'm not real sure what the status is on that. As of right now, it shows that it's still going on.
Well, you know, I just saw a story yesterday that Las Vegas is going to be opening up again finally.
Well, they also saw a story last night that there's a big infection in the workers in some of the casinos in Las Vegas.
Oh, yikes.
October 15th through the 17th, the Charlotte Auto Fair, which is another street rod event. October 24th, the Japanese Car Classic in Long Beach. You know, and you love those JDM cars, the Japanese domestic markets.
Yeah, I do.
So that's kind of a taste of what's going on here in the next couple of weeks nationally.
You are the man. Thank you very much, sir. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and In Wheel Time podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcasts, TuneIn, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict, among others. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break. Stay with us.